Yes, good evening. Welcome back to Football Heritage TV. It's been a bit of a while that I've actually streamed. So here we are, Spurs Unleashed, episode 13. We've got a great cast for you today, like it's a film, but you know what I mean. We've got a great panel today is probably the right words. I told you that. I've forgotten how to stream. We have got Stel, as always, as the ever-present. How are you, my man? You good?
Yeah, outside of football, I'm good. When it comes to Tottenham, I'm sick of it, bored. I actually want the season to end, Savva. No joke. But other than that, yeah.
But listen, to be fair, your mate Daniel has given us something to talk about tonight, so we'll be getting into that.
Yeah.
Lee, the Enigma 27. How are you, sir? Are you well?
I'm good, mate. Pleasure to be back. Nice to see you streaming again.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, I've had nothing to say, and I can't tell you how much Netflix I've watched. It's been painful, but big up, welcome to you. And Mr. Box Office is here. Mr. Box Office, who will tell us a few things that we didn't know, but we need to know. How are you, mate? You good?
Yes, I've had an interesting day, personally,
Good.
but yeah, it's good to be on stream. Thank you for inviting me. And it's good to be on the panel with Lee, that I absolutely love, and Stelios, who's been really supportive to me as well. So thank you for inviting me, and let's get straight into it.
Thank you. So now we've got permission to start the show. Just so you know, people coming in, please smash the like button. Please subscribe to everybody here. You all know our channels. Please smash those subscribe buttons. We're going to have Marlon joining us in about the next 10 minutes as well, so we'll get his point of view. And today, just so everyone knows, we're going to be talking about a little bit about the Crystal Palace game. We've got Aston Villa away in what is, I mean, we call games like this a 6-pointer, but this could mean they go 8 points clear of us. So this is a huge game. And for anyone that hasn't seen any news, Daniel Levy has done some Daniel Levy-like things in the last 48 hours. And it's made Stel make some videos. And we're going to talk about what some of that content was. And we'll be finding out why some Spurs fans are really pissed off yet again with Mr. Levy. And Ryan Sessegnon is out for the season. What do we do with players like Ryan Sessegnon? That's what we'll be talking about. So big up to each and every one of you. Let me start. Guys, I think we've got to start with this topic. Look, it all came out yesterday that Tottenham Hotspur are putting ticket prices up. They're changing concessions. It means more money for us. People are getting less concessions. And it's not gone down well with some fans. Lee, I'm going to start with you, because if I let Stel start, no one else will get to talk for the next hour. So, Lee, what's happened? What, in your mind, what's happened? What's your understanding of it? Why are certain people pissed off, and are you pissed off?
Well, to start off with, I'm not pissed off because I'm not in a position to be able to go to a lot of the matches anyway. So I don't. I'm not one that's going to be affected by it. But listen, I can see why people are pissed off, right? You've got a business, and we know in business, ultimately prices and stuff like that go up. The business is passed that on to customers. But in a situation where you're, one of the most profitable clubs in London, and you're making a lot of money, and you've got revenue coming in from other places, I just don't get we've got to pass it on to the customer in this situation, or the fans. Listen, they can blame energy prices, they can blame this, that, and the other. But we know all of this stuff is starting to come down a bit now anyway, so you can't use that excuse anymore. I don't think he really knows how to run a club which your main bread and butter is the average Joe on the street. Which, you can take it one or two ways. You can say, maybe he's trying to price certain people out, or it's, it literally has to be this way. We can't, we're a sustainable club. You don't have to, put your prices up just to, which is going to pee people off. It's just a really, really strange business decision.
Mm-hmm. The one thing Lee, is the timing bad, Lee? I mean, as we said at the beginning, we'll talk about Villa later, but for me, this is the biggest game of the season now. I know we could probably say that at different points of the season, but this game for me makes or breaks finishing fourth, right? Don't win this game, you're 8 points behind Villa. 10 games to go. It's a big swing. Is it bad timing to have done it now as well? Does that?
I wouldn't even say to do with this game. I know this season's been up and down, and we're all on the Ange train, and we're seeing how things go, and it's going to be a couple of years before anything comes of this. But I just, any time on a new journey, on a new project, and doing this out of the blue really isn't good timing for me at all. The one thing I haven't looked at, and I skimmed over this part of the story when I was sort of reading through things at work earlier. Am I right in saying that they're taking away or doing something season tickets with the OAPs? I saw something else to do with that as well. Now, are they taking them away, or they increasing prices, or something of that nature? Because that for me is worse than the
concessions. I think it's concessions or something like that. I don't know the full ins and outs.
Lee, I'll tell you what they're doing. I'll tell you. Number one, the age that you're allowed to get the discount, the age is now being moved up. So if you were, let's say, for example, 65 years old, you can get the discount. It's now been moved to. It's going to be moved to a higher age.
So that it means that less people will be going because you got less people in that age range.
Yeah, the fans who currently get a concession are going to have that reduced. So let's say you get 50% off, it'll go to 30%, for example. And any new fans, they're going to remove it over time completely.
I mean,
any fans that haven't reached the age are going to remove completely.
Yeah, for me, that's probably more a kick in the teeth. If with that group of Spurs supporters, long-term Spurs supporters, is a bigger kick in the teeth than the average 6% on someone. So I think that's just downright out of order.
Well, look, Alex, let me come to you then. So I mean, look, the people that are the concessions, the people that are gonna have their age put up, these are legacy fans, if you want to call it that. They're the older fan base that have seen Spurs win European trophies. They've seen us win multiple trophies back in the day. They were there when White Hart Lane was falling apart, and it was a pokey old stadium, and they've been there through thick and thin. Why are we now trying to make it harder for those people to come into the stadium? Is it greed? Is it moving with the times? Things have gone up in general in life. Is Daniel Levy well within his rights to do this? What do you make of it all?
I think, for me, a leopard liver changes their spots, really, for me. And I think Danny said this, and he said this, and I remember what he said. He said that when the club, when Daniel Levy, Enoch bought in at Tottenham Hotspur, they didn't buy it for the success, the football, for money. That's what he said. I remember that quite, I remember that, what he said, that statement. Like, I just remember it. And I think that's why, I think it is down to business reasons. I think for me at the moment, it's not the right time. The problem is with this situation at the moment, you start thinking more personal, and I don't want to get personal because then it's not football at the end of the day. And I said to myself, I can't go personal because that's not what Mr. Bots.
Alex, when you say personal, are we talking about personal towards Daniel Levy?
No, personal for personal situations for people. What they're going
right.
for.
Okay, like who can afford it, who
exactly,
can't,
and what's going on
understood,
with people's family and stuff like that. And I just feel at the moment, I can't go there. I can't go to that point because then that's what I can't do. I can't do that on stream. You know what I mean? Because I see, because I see what's going on in the world at the moment. You see what I'm saying? And that's where I think people just don't get it. They just do not get it. You know what I mean? And I think this football at the moment is something to escape from, for people. And I know that because when I go to the games, I see people that are just going to see their friends, their family. It's bigger than just going to see a team win a football match. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why I think that's where I think they just do not get it. You know what I mean? And they won't get it. And that is exactly why I can't. Why people are giving them credit so early. when they got Postecoglou in, and you know how I feel about Postecoglou. It's just it blows my mind. And now you see what's happened. I'm not surprised, and it's really kind of your fault for thinking that we changed. You know what I mean? Because Daniel Levy is always going to be about the money. He's never going to change. You know what I mean? You know, and that's why I just think this situation doesn't surprise me anymore. You know, and
Okay, so
that's it for me.
so still, let me
Hopefully
come
that makes
to you.
sense.
Yeah. No, I get it. I get what you're saying. I mean,
just
still,
before Stel because
on.
this could go on forever with Stel. I could, from a business perspective, I could understand if we were doing the Premier League hierarchy, right? And you know, you've got Club A here, who's the most expensive season tickets, and we're down here, and they're raising it more towards that. Then I get it, but aren't we just like the most expensive anyway?
That's the point I'm making.
And we're just putting ourselves up to another level, which I don't get.
In an area that is not
the grand scheme of things. I get it, and if you if you split it up between the average season ticket price and the average game, it's not a lot of money, but it's the principle. If you're at the top of the stack, don't make the distance between you and the next person bigger. Just keep it as it is, because you can afford to.
And those senior people are struggling at the moment to actually afford these things. And those people, like you said, live through the times when we won things. You know what I mean? And that's where I have, and even children, families. That's where I have a problem with this as well. And that's it for me. But sorry, Savva, I didn't want to interrupt.
No, you're good. I mean, still, look, obviously, as somebody who's very vocal, I'm sure everybody in the chat knows who you are in terms of Tottenham Away being very much Levy out, etc. Before you go into your bit, I want to ask you a question still. If Tottenham Hotspur right now was sitting top of the table, right? If we were in a title race, not these pretend title races that people told me we were in. If we were sitting top of the table where Man City or Liverpool are right now, and in the January window, instead of buying Timo Werners and Dragashins, Spurs had gone out and bought in a Santiago Jimenez and a Todibo, for example. Would we still be as pissed off about these prices? Is it to do with the caliber of players we're bringing in and the success, or is it just the fact, like Lee said, we're already at the top of the pile? So why are we needing to go further at the top? What do you make of all of that?
I think you've hit the nail on the head. You're basically asking me if we would charge Michelin star restaurant prices and Gordon Ramsay was the chef, would I complain? No. But I'm being asked to pay Michelin star prices, and you're giving me a Happy Meal from McDonald's, right? And this is why everyone's pissed off, because if we were winning league titles, if we were getting to Champions League finals, I'd pay the money, because I want to back that. I want to back this project. I want to back my team more than ever before. I'd buy the merch, right? I'd buy a club shirt, a jersey. The issue is this, and Johnny, who's on Tottenham on tour in the morning sometimes, he said something today on a show where they were defending Enoch and Levy more. He said, give us a bone, like just give us some crumbs, Levy.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, why should Levy give us a bone? Why should he give us some crumbs? Well, 24 years, no success. We're called Spursy because of him. It's under his watch we're called Spursy. You got the money to pay millions of pounds to Mourinho, Pochettino, Conte, Stellini. When you sack them, you're happy to sack them and pay millions of pounds to them. So what? We now need to cough up part of that money because of your mismanagement, because your abilities to hire and fire managers is so substandard. It's cost us money, and we have to pick up the bill. Is that where we're going with it? And that's where Johnny says, and that's where I can understand fans who say, "Well, you got to give us something back for this, Daniel."
Yeah.
You can't be announcing richest club in London, FFP Kings, and all our fans were celebrating this victory. We're the only team that can buy players in January. You can't do that and then start taking more from us, you know. And the reason he's gone after the older fans is because Any smart business will look at their customer and see where's the longevity in the customer. Which customer can I upsell to? Which customer can I keep the longest spending the most? And it's not your 70-year-old. Your 70-year-old isn't going to go in the club shop and buy the latest Nike tracksuit for a 30-year-old or for a young lad or young girl.
Buy 10 pints of neck oil when the game finishes. Right. Yeah, £8 a pint or whatever it is. Yeah,
they're not 1 pint and they're probably on the floor at that age, right?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I'm saying that as someone who's in my mid-40s, 2 pints and I'm in trouble. So a young lad though, in his mid-20s, he'll go in there 3-4 pints during the game, half time, a couple after. That's where the money is. They're the people that are going to go and chuck money into the club. Plus, if you've got fans paying half price and you've got someone paying full price, I want the full price customer. So from a business perspective, he's done the right thing. But at the same time, you've cost us millions in compensation. And those fans, those elderly fans you're going after, they're the reason we got promoted from Division 2 when we got relegated in the 70s, because they stuck by the club when we went down. They're the fans that stuck by the club when we were on the brink of bankruptcy under Scholar. They're the fans that were here for the shitty 90s. They're the fans that have been here for 24 years watching this diabolical situation of going from football club to corporate to more corporate and no trophies in return. For me, look, Savva, at the end of the day, I can explain to you why I think this is happening. I can tell you why he's doing it. I can tell you how he's wrong, because he should be giving us something back. He should be saying, do you know what, fans? Let me show you that I actually care. And here's a little something for you before I put the prices up. Let's win a league title, then I'll put the prices up. Let me make Tottenham a great football club, then I'll put the price up. He doesn't do any of that. He goes after us because there's enough fans. And this is, I'm going to wrap it up, Savva, because I don't want to just...
No, you're right. You're right. No, you're good. You're good.
All right. But the reason he's done it above anything else is because he knows he can get away with it. The fans of this club aren't going to stand up to him. I'll stand up to him. You guys here might stand up to him. A few others will. I won't mention the channels that I mentioned on my video earlier on. They won't do a damn thing, and they've got the biggest channels with the biggest voices. The people in the media who support Spurs, they're not going to do a damn thing. Our fan base will never stand up to this man, and that's why he does it. That's why he hires and fires managers and pays out big compensation. That's why he'll never go and buy the superstar quality players. He'll do it on the cheap. This is why a Turbo Werner, a Solomon comes in on a free, not a Kvaratskhelia or a Chiesa. And this is why he's put the prices up, because he knows you, the Spurs fan, will bend over and say, yeah, give it to me, Daniel. I love it. And that's the reality of it. If you stood up and fought against this man, he will get rattled. We rattled him last season. We rattled him. He can be got at. He can't get away with it, but he will, because for whatever reason, fans don't want to stand up to him. And this is the club. This is the club that we've accepted. So please, to all you Spurs fans on social media, on your channels, who are now saying, oh, Levy's this and, oh, he's a crook and look what he's doing to the elderly people. You didn't want to do anything about it when we had the chance, and you're not prepared to do anything about it now. So where are we going with it? Where do you want to go next? We're just going to have to take it on the chin as always, because there's not enough of us fans who actually are prepared to do something. And by the way, that means protesting, boycotting games, not buying club merch, walkouts, whatever it takes. There's lots of different ways of protesting, but are the masses going to do it? I don't think they are.
Look, I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you at all. Listen, welcome to Marlon. How you doing, bro? Long time no see. You well?
I'm good. I hope you're well, Savva. So I felt like when you messaged me, Savva, I ain't seen or spoke to you for ages.
I know. I've just been doing some different bits and bobs at the moment. But listen, welcome to the show. Let's get straight into it, Marlon. So we're obviously talking about Mr. Levy and ticket prices, etc., etc. One of the things I just asked Stel, I'd love to get your opinion on this, and then go to Lee and Alex with it as well. Is it the price, or is it because what we're paying the price for? Now, that might be one and the same thing. But like we said, if Spurs were signing players like Liverpool sign, like Man City sign, if we were signing Declan Rice's, would you accept these prices? Do you accept these prices? Is it a frustration that it's the same old thing? We're that club that finishing fourth by our fans is seen to be this amazing achievement every year. the price keeps going up, but the level of player we're buying doesn't seem to really be going up. What do you make of it all, Marlon? What's going on at Tottenham again? Our loved club.
You kind of have to look at the lot down the road. And obviously they've had price hikes in the last couple of years as well. But you've noticed the fans have backed off when you see players like Declan Rice coming through the door, Havertz, the position that they're in. So you can kind of see what they've done it before themselves. The problem with Spurs, and this is how I personally feel about it. Look, I get why they're doing it, but I don't. But for me right now, this whole fight is not for me. I'm not a season ticket holder, right? And I've been offered season tickets for the last how many years, and I've refused it. Yeah. Because I'm not paying those prices when they're not justifiable at the moment, right? But there are a lot of fans out there that will go and pay it, and will go to, will want to do it, and people will question loyalty over it as well. This is what people do. So for me right now, it's a case of they weren't, like Stel said, there was something Stel said, Levy will do it until they start fighting back. And what people are going to do, they're going to moan now, but wait till season ticket renewal day, there will still be 42,000 people buying it. Yeah. So you can get away with it. So,
yeah, of course. Supply and demand, right?
Yeah, supply and demand. And at the end of the day, like, you can moan on social media about it, you can moan wherever you want to moan, but at the end of the day, look, I get the price hikes. The bit that kind of I was a bit like, whoa, like the bit regarding the old guys, right? The ones that side of things. I was like, it's a bit harsh, but I do slightly get it, because the problem is we're all getting older as fans, right? It's the older generation that are buying the season tickets. What's eventually going to happen? You're going to have all these senior citizens still here because we're lasting a lot longer as people, right? So you'll end up getting a certain amount of people in the stadium that there'll be loads of seniors. And that's their thinking, right? Whether it's right or not is completely different.
Yeah.
Pricing out the youngsters, right? After he went to Cambridge and was questioned about this, right? And after he said, right, it's about the future generation. He doesn't want them. He just wants, and he's done this for years, he wants people to go to the stadium and he wants the money. He wants you to be going there, paying for the beer. He wants you to be doing all of that. And that's what he's there for. And he's pricing out the people that won't do that on a match day. And that's his intention, right? Yeah. That's where he wants Spurs to be. And unfortunately, people are going to have to make a decision now, right? You either pay it or you don't. But as I said, it's not for me to go and fight because I'm not a season ticket holder. It's down to season ticket holders. I'm ready speaking with my wallet. I won't pay them prices. I refuse to.
I agree. Look, Lee, Alex, let me bring you guys in here. I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Levy is well entitled to do what he wants, right? Because I'm playing devil's advocate before you shout at me. You know my true feelings. Yeah. He's entitled to do what he wants because 5,000 fans might not go. There's 62,000 people or 100,000 people on a waiting list. There's fans coming over from Australia, from Korea for the Postecoglou effect and the Sun effect that will buy those tickets. So how does this change, Lee? Because how does it change? Someone's always going to buy it. Whether he changes that ticket to 150, 160, 170, the ticket's always going to be sold. So what happens here?
Well, this is the issue, isn't it? And this is what I was saying earlier today to someone, that there's always someone waiting in the wings. If you're a season ticket holder and you don't like the fact there's a price increase, you almost have to suck it up and just take it on the chin because you know there's 100,000 people waiting there to take your position. And even if he loses, 30% of that, that's still, 70,000 people that are putting money in his pocket. Listen, I don't think every business is entitled to put their prices up, right? I get that. And we see that all the time. What I don't understand is, and this is going back to what Stel and Marlon was saying, is that what does the price increase warrant? We're already at the top of the stack. People were probably angry because they don't see it as value for money, because for that massive price, you are not getting the expectation of what a top club is giving you, i.e. trophies, Premier Leagues. We're not getting that. So it's like as you exactly say, it's the value for money aspect. That's why people get the ump. Why should we pay the highest prices when we don't get the output from it? It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, Alex. I'll tell you where I come from with this, Alex, just briefly in about 15 seconds, just to see what you think. For me, I stopped going. I refused to pay after the beginning of last season. I got bored of watching Ryan Sessegnon. Not just him, by the way. I got bored of watching Eric Dyer. I got bored of watching Ben Davis, Højbjerg, Skip, Brian Hill, Richarlison's. Then we go and buy Werner's, Valise's, Ashley. I will not pay until I think the ticket price is worth the caliber of player we're going and buying in the market. Does that make sense? Do you agree?
Yeah, I see where people are at. I mean, I'll be one of those fans that will try and get a season ticket, though, to be honest with you. And because I know how difficult it is to get a ticket. I mean, I am literally trying to hustle for a ticket for the Arsenal game. You know what I mean? So, you know, I'll do it because I know other people will take the ticket. And the thing is, though, like Marlon said, someone else or Lee said that, you know, even if you drop your season ticket, you're not going to see that ticket again, aren't you? You know what I mean? Because someone else is going to take it. You know what I mean? You're going to be on the waiting list at the back of the queue. So, you know, this is why I said I can't give any credit, because I know exactly what this guy is. You know what I mean? It's like when people said you need to give this guy credit, Daniel Levy, I sat there and thought, sorry, he's getting credit when he's getting his paycheck every single year. You know what I mean? So it's like he's doing his job. So sorry, no, he doesn't get any credit. You know, when he will get credit when he sticks to what he said before, because a leopard doesn't change his spots. So this is why I, you know, you're absolutely spot on, Savva, and you're I think you're absolutely spot on what you're saying. It's like you're within your right to say, you know what, this is not worth my money, so that's why you're happy to not pay, and until we lift up the standards, you're going to go back to the Tottenham. Yes, so you're absolutely spot on what you're saying. But unfortunately, Daniel Levy knows there's lots of other people that will just go because they're going for the experience, and that's it. And that's the way it is. So.
Well, let me ask you all. I'll start with you and then move around. Let me ask you all that Spurs fans went through this big prolonged period of the club building a new stadium. It seemed, it felt like it went on for about a decade. It probably didn't, but it felt like that whole period of time, from planning permission to buying out all the companies around the stadium to knocking down the stadium. It felt like it was like a decade. And what you heard for years and years and years was, oh, once the stadium's built, we're going to be this, we're going to do that. Oh, it's for the better of the club. I'm going to ask this question. What has actually changed at Tottenham from White Hart Lane to whatever it's called now? Because I won't call it anything other than White Hart Lane. What has changed from a football perspective that has made so many more people see a light at the end of the tunnel that maybe some others of us can't see? What has changed? Is it perception just because it's a lovely stadium?
Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. Those that think there's light at the end of the tunnel, they're stupid. Stupidity is when you can see what's wrong, you know it's wrong, but you continue to believe that it's not. That's what they're doing. They know it. Look, when he built that stadium, he got the best architects in the world of sports, architectural planning, engineering. He got the best builders. He got the best plumbers, the best designers, the best electricians, the best surveyors,
the best hand dryers.
The best hand dryers. Well, yeah, we've got Dysons. We've actually got Dysons. He got the best of everything in industry. Yeah. And when we ran out of money and when it went over budget, he went and found another £200 million. No problem. We'll do it. He put his heart, his soul, and did the best of the best. And he's produced a sensational stadium. Nowhere near that level of the best have you seen when it comes to the football team. The best managers, the best coaches, the best players, the best levels of patience to stick with these managers, the best recruitment. the best spending. No, it's not the same. It's not on parity, because he never wanted the football team to be the best. He wanted the business to be the best. And this stadium is part of a much bigger business plan. It's a multi-purpose international media leisure centre that would attract all sorts of international business and all sorts of new levels of funding. And he'll scale this. We will have an NFL franchise one day. The Tottenham Tornadoes will be a thing. It's going to happen. Or the Hotspur Hurricanes, right? He's going to do it. He's going to build the land and infrastructure around the stadium. So for me, nothing's changed other than his pockets. And Savva, I just want to say one thing on this, right? People give me shit about, oh, but you go to the matches, you go to the games. Damn right I do, because I support Tottenham. And for me, I don't have many hobbies in life. I'm not, I like flying. I've got a dog and I go to the pub with my mates. That's not who I am. There's a couple of things I like doing, but I like going football. I like going to the football. I don't want to go to Chelsea. I don't want to go to Arsenal. I don't want to go West Ham. Tottenham's my local team. That's where I grew up. That's the club I support. I want to go and watch the Spurs. I want to go and mix with Spurs fans. But why should I stop doing that? Why should I have to leave? He can leave, right? You leave, not me. Why should I lose my hobby because of you? And I protest in that stadium. I protest outside that stadium. It's the fans who moan and whinge and complain that do nothing that I've got the issue with. Fans who don't complain, listen, what can you say? They've accepted it. Fans who boycott games or refuse to spend merch, fair play, right? I choose to protest and make noise and help stir this up to put the pressure on him. That's my way of doing it. But I'm not going to give up going to Spurs. And yeah, he kind of does win, but I could stay at home. Okay, I'll watch it on TV. Guess what? My TV subscription goes where? Back to Spurs. Tottenham earn more from TV revenue and media rights than what they do from any other income stream. So if you stay at home, unless you've got one of them dodgy Fire Sticks and you've got a BT subscription or a Sky Sports subscription, or you live abroad and you pay your monthly sports provider where it's Fox Sports or whatever it's called, that money ends up back at the club. So unless you stop supporting Tottenham completely, how do you stop giving money to them? There's no way out of this.
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is why.
Okay.
Unless we fight against him, what do we do? But to answer your question, Savva, nothing's for me, nothing's changed other than we've got all the gear now, but we still don't have any idea. The gear looks better. The outfit looks nicer.
So, Marlon, let me ask you a question then. So, we've been in the stadium a long time now. We've been there a long time. I feel like the emails I get regularly tell me that this person's singing at the stadium and that American football team's playing there and this and that. And do I want to buy a Formula One go-kart experience? I don't know, all this kind of rubbish. But my question to you is, with all of that extra money, with everything that we're seeing there, do you think the caliber of players has gone up from the caliber of players we were signing whilst at White Hart Lane? The Alderweirelds, the Vertonghen's, the Dembeles, the Bales, the Modrics, the Berbatov. Are we buying that level of player? And if not, why not?
Look, I'm gonna have to quote Tim Sherwood, and I really hate to, but he he basically said, right, and he told Daniel Levy, right, when they were building the training ground and when they were building the stadium, that don't bring you the best players. It helps in the situation where, okay, you can show him this, like just take someone like Van der Ven. You can bring Van der Ven to Spurs, right? He's been at Wolfsburg. He'll come to Spurs and go, actually, this is better than where I was at, right? But let's take a top quality player at the top of his game. He's cut out, right? He's about 24, 25. Let's take Eze. Eze's got the choice between Spurs, Arsenal, and Manchester City, right? We might have everything else better than those two things off the pitch.
Yeah,
we don't have the success on it, and that's what players are. That's what the top players are about. So with the caliber of the players, you're never going to get that, right? The only thing that I wanted to ask the question on what's changed is the matchday experience has changed for everyone who attends that ground, right? That is the biggest, and that is how Daniel Levy has got everybody. Even like if Stel has just said it there, the reason why he goes is because he wants to support his club and he wants to meet his friends and everything like that. And that's how he's got people, right? Because let's take the games we win. let's take Arsenal, right? Our first win there. Everything on social media is in the South Stand of people singing, dancing, and everything. And that's the big thing. Daniel Levy wins in that way, because at the end of the day, whenever you ask people, I'm not giving up my seat, I like going to this place before the game, I like going in the stadium. That's what it's all about. And that's what Daniel Levy wanted to create. And that's how he's got everybody, right? So the season ticket prices.
So are you suggesting that what he's created was by design and not by accident?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is exactly what he wanted, right? Yeah. Because as Stel said, he still wants to go watch Spurs, right? At the end of the day, we've seen Spurs when they were completely rubbish, right? When people say, you know, we didn't have the best teams at White Hart Lane, we still went. That's what we do as football fans, right? And unfortunately, as a business, I'm going to be totally honest. If I was a businessman, I'd do exactly the same. I'd exploit the situation because I want to make money, and that's exactly what he's done. None of us, right? We can all sit there and go, oh, about loyalty and this, that, and the other. But if we were all in Daniel Levy's shoes and it was about making money, we'd all do the same. Unfortunately, we would.
No. Because, I don't doubt that at all. I don't doubt that. I
mean,
Marlon,
the thing is, right? You're either really, really corporate, money, screw everyone, or you're all football, and you kind of neglect the finances, and maybe you end up like a Leeds United back in the day, and that great team ended up being disbanded and they got relegated, or you find a balance.
Yeah.
There's no balance with us because we never do enough to be successful. We never do enough to win silverware. We're always more heavy on the corporate. It's always a bit more the business. This year, all I've heard is FFP, profit and sustainability. I've heard, what do you call it? The ticket prices going up. Everything you hear about with this club is always money, spreadsheet, F1 contract, Lady Gaga. It's like we don't get enough football. We don't get enough football love. Does that make sense? We're not being given what we want as fans.
No, but I get that. But you'll find a lot of people this season, right, have gone, oh my God, I miss being out of Europe. I miss the midweek games, right? Doesn't matter what competition it's in. There's been quite a few people goes, I hate waiting a week to watch Spurs, right? So again, it's just about the experience. I think a lot of Spurs fans have gone past the point of trophies. They're more caring about just watching Spurs play. And unfortunately, that's where we are as a fan base at the moment. And that's why when you're trying to get people to protest and stuff, people like you always get what's it's not our divine right to win a trophy. You get answers like that. Where do you go from there? There's nothing you can really do. If that's what people are going for, that's what they're going for. And that's why, you know, they'll go every week, but it always seems to be the only thing that gets people really rolled up, right? And this is why I haven't been getting involved in social media stuff in the last couple of days, is ticket prices, right? Because it's the one thing that affects them the most. But it always happens most seasons.
But you see, Marlon, you see that comment. It's not a divine right to win trophies. No, but at the same time,
at least have a go.
It should be it should be our ambition to demand we go for it.
I wish it was. I wish it was still. But the problem is most people don't really care about it anymore. Daniel Levy has created this thing where playing
they're all moaning now. But they're all out there moaning. They're moaning about Angepostecoglou not being as good as what it was at the first 10 games. They're moaning about the ticket prices. So when it suits them, they've got a problem. Yeah, then when it comes down to it, they're not issues anymore.
If we were in the Champions League right now, right? Put it like this: if we was in the Champions League right now and we were playing the likes of Lazio and all that, and we were getting through, say we're in Harry Kane's situation and this happened, I bet you find a lot of people be like, you know what, I can see it. If we're going to want to make Champions League football every year, this is the stuff we've got to do. People would moan less. It's just because right now we're literally playing one game a week. Yes, it's not been exciting as much as it has been, but this is what people are going to do. And that's what I'm saying.
It's because we're out the cups in round one. It's because what is this? Like, where are we going? Like, look, I get it's Andrew's first season. I get that. But this project, that project, his project, new project, this plan, this manager. And then on top of it, you're told, richest club in the world. That's why we've done all this. Oh, by the way, can we have another 6%?
Of course.
Can we have a bit more? That's where... And this is the beginning.
It's how much is he going to take? Yeah, it's how much he's going to take before Spurs fans go, that's enough. And at the moment, this is the problem. The 6% will turn in 2-3 years' time will be another 2-3% on top of that.
I think the thing for me, guys, and Lee, look, I'll bring you in here. I want to round off this conversation about that before we move on to Aston Villa. Actually, it's quite a good talking point, actually, Aston Villa, because Aston Villa are a team that 5 seasons ago were in the Championship. They were down there for a couple of seasons, struggling to get back up. Had to sell Jack Grealish, their best player, at 100 million. Came up and are now above us in the space of those 4 or 5 seasons. And it goes to show that we've had our chairman for 24 years. Other clubs seem to be putting this together in such a short space of time, but yet we always seem to believe that this is the dawn of a new era, Lee. You know, people like myself and Stel especially have had it in the ear for this season. Like, just get on board the Ange train. Like, I'm like, hang on, this isn't about Ange. This is about what are the club doing. For me, Lee, and I'll leave it with this question. If I had seen in the summer, Spurs had gone out and instead of buying a Brennan Johnson, we're buying a Moussa Diaby like Villa bought, right? Instead of bringing in Valise and Ashley Phillips, we're bringing in Tielemans on a free. Like, I'm not saying Tielemans is the best, but we're bulking out our squad. We're adding depth. We're getting rid of the deadwood. I wouldn't have a problem with this. But the problem is, Lee, we're going to do the same thing again this summer. We'll buy a couple of good ones, then a couple of average ones, then a couple of young ones. And the majority of our fan base still, Lee, will sit there and cream their pants. And Bergvall is the perfect example. We go and buy an 18-year-old. Our fans turn him into Lionel Messi overnight. What happens, Lee? Where are we going? What is this just going to be a thing we talk about for the next 5 years, 10 years, however long Levy's here?
Well, that depends what direction the club want to take us, right? Do they want to just be this media rolling machine that just, prints money, generates money from left, right and centre? Or do they want to be a football club and actually put some of that money and actually have some ambition to buy players to actually win something? I mean, listen, I think I said this on the stream last week on our Monday night show. I can't tell you, I can tell you everything that's happening with Tottenham and Daniel Levy. I know I'm a Spurs fan, but I watch other teams and stuff like that as well and trying to get insight. I can't name another club in the Premier League where I have any idea what's going on with the directors at the club. I don't know what they're doing for the club. You just do not see anything in the news. The biggest story out of any of them is obviously that's been there for the last couple of years is Abramovich, and that's because of the sanctions. Other than that, you don't hear about any other club and what their directors are doing and flirting with this and flirting with that. It's all a big, look at us, we're great. Look at us, we're doing this, we're doing that. You can come and watch Beyonce, go see the Chili Peppers. That's great. I don't mind you doing that. We're only doing 1 game a week. If you want to do Wednesdays and Thursdays having concerts, that's absolutely fine. But you're not showing me any ambition that you want to push the football club forward. That's the bit that's missing for me.
Yeah.
But as someone has pointed out, and I've always sustained this opinion that you cannot go gung ho as a business. I know we want to see these big name players and that, but we have to be sustainable. Villa, as your example, Villa have done that, but Villa are now in trouble because if you look at how much their losses are for the club, there's a potential there that they're going to get FFP ruled as well. So I know there's a balance. You've got to be...
Yeah.
But we are now in a position where we can spend that type of money and still will be within the rules. You've got to spend the money now. You've got to.
But isn't the problem, guys, that for all the talk about Daniel Levy, etc., Spurs do spend money. Let's be brutally honest. Spurs spend money. I was looking at it earlier.
Not in the right way.
I'll get there, mate. Don't worry, I'll get there. Spurs spend money. I was looking today at all the money that's been spent at Tottenham Hotspur since the Champions League final. What was that, 2019, right? Spurs have spent a hell of a lot of money, guys, in that 5-year period, right? The problem is, what we do, Lee, to your point of we don't spend it in the right way, Spurs won't ever go out and go, you know what, this summer, we're just going to buy 4 players for 150 million. And they're all going to be, when I say top players, I don't expect world-class footballers, guys, right? But go and get 4 top players and you go, right, there you go. Those 4 straight into the 11. Let some of the 11 drop down into the squad players. We're better than we were. What we do is every single summer, we go and buy 7, 8 players. Every single summer, this is a pattern, right? We go and buy 7 or 8 players. 1 or 2 are brilliant. Look, Van der Ven and Maddison, brilliant. Then you get a couple that are good. Vicario, Kulu, right? Then you get a couple that are squad players. Solomon, yeah? Brennan Johnson. Then you get a couple that are kids. That's my problem, guys. It's not that Daniel Levy doesn't spend money. It's that we will never seem to have that one year where we go, bang. Like this summer, go and buy 4 players. If that was it, if we got rid of 10 and bought in 4 players, but they were good quality footballers that raised the level of the first team, I'm happy with that. But we go and buy 7 or 8. Our fans cream their pants every single summer. Look how we've backed the manager. Look at this player, blah, blah, blah. Then what we do is we spend a whole year justifying why a player who is not good enough is good in moments. Brennan Johnson being a case in point. Brennan Johnson comes on, closes a player down against Crystal Palace. Oh, see, he just needed time. What? Hold the back page. Premier League footballer presses and closes down. Right? That's what we do year in, year out, gents. That's my gripe with it. It's not that we don't spend. It's that it's always the same pattern. And you guys know I'm right. It will be the same pattern this summer. You know I'm right.
And
people won't want to admit it, but I'm right.
And we sack the manager every 18 months, so the next guy doesn't want any of the players we just bought for the previous guy on top of it.
I mean, is that am I right in saying we spend money, guys, but it's always on a plethora of players rather than
what we want, what we actually want is some really high class escorts that actually give us a really good time. But what we actually do is go and buy 7 or 8 crack calls and hope one of them don't give us syphilis.
Superb. Love that. But it's look, I do want to move on, guys, but I just think it's crazy. And the last rant I'll have on this, I've been quite quiet throughout the show. The last rant I'll have on this, I'll just say what I hate is that people that will watch this show back, Stel, you'll know all about this, right? When I wake up tomorrow, my YouTube comments will be bombarding me with "you're negative, you're a prick, you don't support Spurs, go and support Arsenal, this, that, the other," right? Because what they'll do is go, "Oh, Savva thinks we can buy Mbappe." No, Savva doesn't think we can buy Mbappe. Savva just thinks we can buy better than Timo Werner and Brennan Johnson. Chelsea bought Cole Palmer, right? Chelsea are a shambles. They bought Cole Palmer and Kunku. Yeah? Newcastle bought Anthony Gordon. We're buying Brennan Johnsons. Anyway, I'm going to start with you, Alex. Aston Villa away this weekend. How big a game is this? And if we lose, is top 4 gone? It will be an 8-point gap if they beat us. That will be a 3-game swing.
I think it's a big game, but I think people are making a really massive deal out of something that I really truly don't believe that even if Aston Villa win, that we're going to be out of it.
Even at 8 points.
Yeah, I just don't feel it for some reason. I just think this league's been very up and down. I mean, I think the teams that, like, for instance, Arsenal, Man City and Liverpool are in their own trajectory at the moment because they're going for the title at the moment. But I just look at it like, I just think Aston Villa are still in the Conference League, aren't they? They're still in the Conference League at the moment.
Yeah, they play tonight.
So I think they're going to be focused on that as well. Yes, they will be focused on the league as well. But yeah, it's an important game. I get where everyone's saying it's a big game because 8 points is a big gap, especially with the amount of games we've got left. Yes, but I think Aston Villa are not as consistent as like the teams above them at the moment, if you know what I mean. So,
well, I mean, Alex, if you look at the table there that I've put up, you're talking about Aston Villa being consistent. Aston Villa have taken 12 points from their last 15.
Yeah, fair enough.
Look, I'm just looking at this, and this is to everyone. If they beat us, that's an 8-point swing with a possible 30 to go. So that means that if Aston Villa in their last 10 games win 6 of their 10, we have to win 9. That for anyone else, is it this game or lose this game and we're out of the Champions League running?
I think if you don't beat Aston Villa, if you don't get minimum draw, I think we're in trouble for top 4 because our game in hand is against Chelsea away. We all know how that's going to end. We can kid ourselves. We can say, no, Chelsea in the mud. We know how that's going to go down, right? And then you're looking at Newcastle away. Newcastle have found a bit of form again. We've got West Ham away. That'll be tough. They're fighting for a place in Europe. Liverpool away. We've won there 3 times in 100 years. That's a fact. Arsenal at our ground. Arsenal right now are the most informed team in the country. We've got Man City coming to us. They'll be fighting for a league title. We've also got to go away to there's one other team I've missed. Point is, we've got one hell of a run in. Villa have got a very tough run in as well, by the way.
They've got pretty much the same teams as us. They've got West Ham away, Man City away, Arsenal away. They've got Chelsea at home, and they've got Liverpool at home.
But that's my point, Marlon. Right? Is the fact is for if we
the way we're playing, Marlon, the way we're playing,
No, I do get it, and I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if we lost at the weekend. But I'm in the boat of if they go in further in the Conference League, some of them games for them will become a lot tougher for them. Yes, we've got a tough April. I get it, but it's a case of it's not over until it's over. It's one of those.
But Marlon, can I ask a question? Haven't we said that? I've heard this all. We're in March, right? Guys, we're in March, right? The season starts in August, in case anyone didn't know. I've heard all season how all these other teams, we've got the benefit over them because they're in Europe and we're not. We play once a week. We're the team that when I watch us at the weekends, we're the ones that look like we've played midweek. And all these other teams look fresh as a daisy, battering teams. So is this going to be the difference between Spurs and Villa? I mean, Lee, I know you need to jump in a minute because you've got a phone call with Daniel Levy or whoever you're talking with at 9:30. If they beat us this weekend, let me rephrase that. Not if they beat us. Is it a concern for you, Lee, that even these teams that are playing midweek, when we seem to play them at the weekend, they still seem to be fresher than us. They start quicker than us, and we need to go behind in order to start playing them. Is that a concern?
I think it's got to be. I mean, the thing is, in terms of the actual Villa match, I'm not too worried in terms of, oh my God, it's going to be an absolute battering. They're going to batter us. I don't think that's the case. I think we've been struggling lately against these lower teams that put in the low blocks, that kind of thing. And I don't think Villa are going to play like that. They can't. It's not in their nature to play like that, especially against someone like us. So I think it'll be a very interesting game. I think it could go either way. But this is, as we're saying, this is the last game before we start seeing this run of really tough games coming up, right? If we're going to get it, if all of the games go the way that we expect for both us and Villa, this is Sunday is their chance to put that pressure off of them.
Yeah.
If they put that gap, if they make that little bit of a gap, because if they all go the way we expect, then basically we're going to be in exactly the same position in about 5 or 6 weeks' time. So we need this to put more pressure on them, and obviously with the pressure of Europe as well, then maybe we can get in a bit of a better mindset. Maybe they'll have a little bit of drop. I don't know, but I don't hear other teams complaining about playing midweek. I don't hear Brighton moaning about it when we go and play them. I don't hear. So it's obviously not affecting them that much, but obviously that all comes down to the depth of the squad, right? Which is something that we couldn't handle with this year if we were in.
Yeah.
Savva, I think this game, right, is going to be really close because we struggle against a low block. We can't get into any rhythm. We don't know how to beat a low block. It's not until teams kind of push up a bit and we get in behind. Villa player with a high line.
Yeah.
And unless they drop 15, 20 yards back, which I don't think they will, they're going to play high up because that's the way to go about it. That suits us. The issue we're going to have is whether we take these chances because we're wasteful in front of goal. We saw Timo Werner miss a one-on-one. Brennan Johnson missed from 6 yards out. We're wasteful. None of our midfielders really score. Only Gio when he's playing, if he plays. So for me, when we played Aston Villa at White Hart Lane, we got into them. And for 25 minutes, we ripped them to pieces. We didn't take our chances, and then Villa beat us. So for me, I think this game is going to be like tennis. They're going to get in behind us. They're going to get in behind us because everyone gets in behind us. We'll get in behind them. This is I can see this being one of those kind of 3-2 games. Who wins it? It's anyone's. But because they're the home team, you kind of give them the advantage being the home team. They've got great form at home, and I think they've only lost 2 home games all season. And it's going to be a big game for them. If we go there and get a result, that's a massive win.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I agree. Anyone else see it? Anyone else see it differently? Anyone else worried about Villa? I mean, I agree with Stel. I do think we'll have many chances. My worry, as you know, Stel and whoever streams with me every week, you'll know that I just worry at how many opportunities Spurs give to very average football teams just because we are playing so high. So what does anyone else think? Anyone think that we're going to struggle?
Well, I think the reason why I say I'm not really worried about this game, I don't feel that it is as big as what people are saying, is not because I think Tottenham are not very good. You know what I feel about Tottenham at the moment. I think we're bang average. Yeah, that's not changed. That's not changed, and it won't change till a long time. But I just feel at the moment is that I think what Stel said is true. I think the problem I have with the team at the moment is the forward line. The forward line for me, the only player for me that is who's you can guarantee goals at the moment is Son. That's it. Werner is not good, and I'm fed up with people saying I'm being negative because if you watch good footballers, strikers that know where the net is, they're arrogant. They've got swag. He hasn't got swag, right? Sorry, just isn't got it. Defoe has swag. Berbatov has swag. Kane has swag. But Werner hasn't got it. Johnson has not got it. I'm sorry. And Richarlison is just the below average Emil Heskey. Might as well be Chris Armstrong, who's injured. That's it. Simple. Done. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But then I'm hearing people saying you're not giving him a chance. But if we're going to say that, should we get Vincent Janssen back then? Vincent Janssen was absolutely useless. We shot him out of the club. Should we get Lorente back then? You know what I mean? Chris Armstrong, Les Ferdinand. All these players that we're saying were average. But because they're at our club, they're not. We need to give them a chance. We need to give them confidence. What do big clubs do? Yeah, Timo Werner was at Chelsea. People are laughing at him. We were all laughing at Timo Werner when he was at Chelsea. All of us. Comes to Tottenham. He's this, he's that. We need to give him a chance. We need to do that. We need to do this.
Alex, I could guarantee you. Do you remember 3 or 4 days before we signed Timo Werner, all of the reports were massively that Timo Werner was signing for Man United. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And I remember everyone online that wasn't a Man United fan was taking the piss, right? Then 3 days later, we wake up to Spurs are signing Timo Werner, and I'm getting in the ear, if we get Timo Werner of 5 years ago. Now, I see him have a couple of good assists against Brentford, who are getting battered by everyone at the moment. I see him have a half-decent game against Crystal Palace, who are poor, right? And suddenly it's like, give him a chance. We do this with every player after every game. Every single time a poor player has a half-decent game, we start talking about they're good. Then you got fans, just quickly, like this. Wait till we're decent, we'll walk away with a title. Where do these people come from? What title are we walking away with? When are we walking away with this title that everyone keeps telling me we're going to walk away with this title? We're signing Timo Werners and Brennan Johnsons. That's me over. I'm out.
Gents, just before I've just got my thing come through, so I'm just about to drop off. So thanks, everyone.
Much love as always. Take care, bro.
In a bit.
See you later.
Just last thing about Emerson Royale. Yeah, I heard it on the podcast saying, why are we scapegoating Emerson Royale? Right? This is what I keep on saying. I'm saying to him, blue in the bloody face. If he can't get above Poro, he's a backup. And what do backups do? You might as well have Harry Weeks back. That's the point. You know what I mean? You know, this is the thing. Wham Foyth, great footballer, yeah, by the way. We loaned him out the club. And where did he go to? Villarreal. What did he do? Win Europa League. League.
Alex.
You know what I mean? It's just, this is the point I make. And it's just like he's saying, you're being harsh on him because he had a good game. Sorry, good games in a job is Højbjerg, and Højbjerg's bang average. So that just says to you, that's it. You need to be competing. That's the thing. People don't think about it. What I'm saying is that if you're not competing for that player and saying trying to compete to get better than that player, you're not good enough. And that's it. And even I'm saying that, and I defended Harry Winks. I had to apologise to Irish Hotspur. You know what I mean? You know, I was complaining about it a few years ago. I said, Dyer, all these players are good enough. And I had to apologise to him.
But
So I'm in the mud.
But
Back to you, Savva. I'm done.
But for me, Royale's not the major issue with this team at the moment. You've just complained about the whole front three. That needs to be sorted out before any right back comes in or any backup.
No, but
we have positions, like we have positions in the first team that need to be upgraded, right? Porro right now is not an issue at right back. Emerson is just his backup. He's not there to come and get into the first team. He can be a situation later on, then we need to upgrade, right? But when you go at Emerson Royale, it's kind of like going, but there are other positions that are more important. And
no, I'm not making that point. I'm making that point. But the point I'm making is I hear on podcasts, by the way, like I said, I'm not angry about the team anymore. It's the fans. It's these fans on podcasts saying that we are moaning. Yeah, we're miserable. Yeah, they're saying that we're miserable because we don't see what Angie's cooking. You know what I mean? So it's like when I hear like saying, "Oh, you can make Emerson a great player," it's like, why? How?
People are just saying things because we all know Emerson Royale has limitations, and that's what it is, right? But for me, like let's take Saturday. He came in and had to do a certain job, which at the end of the day, he did okay, right? We're not sitting there and saying he should be playing in front of Porro. That's not the issue. The problem that I've got with the team right now is that, as Savva said earlier, if he went out and bought 4 players, I want to improve that front three. That front three for me is horrible, right? Every single one of them, right? And that's where most of our money should be going on this summer. Son is the only decent player we've got up there, and he's not. We don't know how long he's got left, right? And he needs upgrading right now. We can't wait 2 or 3 years for it. Werner, right? Look, Angie's system is about scoring goals, right? Especially as a front three. Werner is not that player, right? He'll get you assists, but that's about it, right? Johnson
Werner's
has
class.
not. Yeah, Johnson. Look, at the end of the day, I get what you guys are saying. I don't hate him as much as everybody else, but at the end of the day, I still want him upgraded because I know exactly what this system needs right now. The midfield for me is okay-ish, but for me, like when people go at Emerson, it's just like, why are you going to Emerson for? That's just like the last position you go for. I get we've got that certain type of player, but he's what he's
Marlon,
inherited.
you're not understanding my point. You're not understanding my point. The point I'm making is that I've said this. I've said it on your podcast. Yeah. By the way, big up to Spurskingstv. By the way, you need to subscribe to that channel. By the way, you know what I mean, for my boys. You know what I mean. But the point I'm making is that they need to compete, and that's what top teams have. You know what I mean? It's like,
I get that.
And I don't think if we don't have that sort of mentality, even Angie's saying, I don't even like the guy. He says it himself. They all need to keep competing, so they push the other player. And so, unfortunately, none of the players do that. I'm sorry, they don't do it. And until we get to that mentality, we are not going to do anything because we're going to have the same problem saying this player is not good enough because it doesn't do what Porro does. If
Alex, you see these fans on these podcast channels, whatever, who say, "Oh, we're miserable," blah blah blah, right? All of them are fake positivity merchants. A lot of them live in this false dawn of hope. I pay money to watch my team. If my team play crap, I have every right in the world to moan and complain about it because I've paid to be entertained. I've paid to watch my team excite me, and I haven't got it. So when I go to Spurs, I have to have a CRN number to buy a ticket, not a fan membership number, not a fan loyalty scheme code, a client reference number. I'm a customer. That's what he calls me. So as a customer, if I don't like the service, I complain about it. And that's what I'm doing. So you're allowed to moan. If in a year's time, we're playing this really exciting brand of football and we're dominating for 78 minutes of a game and we're scoring 4 or 5 goals, I won't complain. I won't be, ripping up trees and saying, this is ridiculous. Why would I do that? But whilst I'm there, you can only speak about each week. For the last 3 months, Spurs have been a very average team to watch that has somehow found a way through spirit and never say die attitude to win games, right? We haven't been good to watch like we were the first 10 games. And even those first 10 games, there's a couple of games in there, we weren't that great. So it's been an illusion that Spurs play well this season. I have every right to moan about that because I pay to be there. Like I said, in a year's time, if we're playing really good football and it's really exciting, I won't say a freaking word. And regarding the Timos and the Emersons and the Brennan Johnsons and the Højbjergs, listen, our rivals, if we want to win trophies like that Ronnie bloke said earlier on, we're gonna win the league title with a breeze. Brennan Johnson, Timo Werner, Højbjerg, Chicken Royale, all of them, Davies, all of them, none of them get into our main rivals, Liverpool, Man City, or Arsenal. And that's the competition we have to beat. Those players don't get into those teams. So if that's what we've got to beat, you can't do it with these players. Maybe keep one or two as a backup. Okay. But let's get real. And
before I hand it over to Savva, yeah, just to someone in the chat, Nick, by the way, yeah, who defends Emerson Royale.
I was waiting for this. I was waiting for this.
Okay. If we're going to talk about Emerson Royale, right, I want to see that same energy he had for Harry Winks, Wham Foyth, Bergwijn, all those players, Stephen Carr, all those players that we thought, no, not Stephen Carr because he was actually good enough. But the thing is, though, like all those players that we thought were not good enough, I want the same energy, yeah? Because just because he's good on TikTok doesn't mean he's good footballer, mate. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, you can get a better footballer. Even Savva said himself. That's why I listened to Savva, because when he said, if you can't get a better footballer than Emerson Royale, we're in big trouble, and that's it. So I didn't even want to go Mr. Box Office today. It's calm today. Back to you, Savva. I'm done.
Savva, do you know what's interesting? Right? Do you know what's interesting about the current situation at Spurs? Right, Marlon, Alex as well, not just Savva.
Yeah, we are here too.
You guys can listen as well.
Listen,
cheers, Stel.
Alex told everyone to subscribe to your channel, not mine or Savva's. Yeah, you know.
No. I was going to come to them.
Yeah. Whenever you're ready, Alex. It's all right. Take your time.
Guess who just sent me that?
Chicken Royale, hello.
Yeah, it's Nick, isn't it? It's Nick.
Right. The thing is, we handball is so heavy on the attack that you can tell that what he wants to do is have us high up, suffocate you, move the ball around quickly, get in behind, bang. Basically, he wants us to be a bit like Man City. Let's have it. You know, that's kind of where he'd like us to be. So when you're going to have that much emphasis on the attack and you slightly neglect the defense, like you're a bit more look. The defense is going to get caught out. It's going to happen, right?
A bit Ozzy Ardiles-esque from the 90s.
Yeah, a bit Aussie, right? If you're gonna go a bit Aussie, surely you need top attacking players as the first thing because that's what your team's about.
Yes,
right. So when I don't see that, and it links to what you all said, then I'm thinking, hold on a minute, this is a nonsense right now. But I'm patient. We'll see what happens. But I agree, Marlon. Front line, but considering the style we're trying to play, it's shocking, man. It's shocking.
But still, this is what I've said all season. This is what makes me laugh, right? Look, do I rate Skip, Højbjerg, Emerson Royale, Davis, Dyer, Hill, Sessegnon, Valise, no, I don't. Right? I can handle them in a squad. If you've gone out and bought, as you said, what a manager needs to make his system work, i.e., Man City, to make their system work, Pep Guardiola must have footballers that are comfortable on the ball and comfortable to receive the ball wherever they're on the pitch when they've got players around them, right? None of their players are scared to take the ball when they've got 2 or 3 men on them, right? They must have fullbacks that can invert, right, at Man City. You must have midfielders that can all rotate, right? Funnily enough, they go and buy that. Spurs need a really good forward line, like you say, Stel. And the forward players, we've signed 5 forward players in his 2 windows. Now, I'm not blaming Ange, but the 5 forward players we've signed during that time is Valise, right? Kulusevski, Brennan Johnson, Timo Werner, and Solomon. Now, I'm going to say something, guys. If None of those players play for Tottenham Hotspur. And this summer, one of our rivals, Villa, Newcastle, I don't know, Chelsea, Man United, went and signed any one of those players. What one of those teams are you jealous of?
None of them.
No, you're laughing.
None of them. None of them. That's my point. That's my point. So what frustrates me more than anything, I'm not expecting all 5 of those to be world-class and brilliant, but I'm expecting that 3 of the forwards you bring in, they go straight into that first 11 and we are automatically better. Hasn't happened. Hasn't happened. We've got 3 or 4. I'm not saying they're all bad. It's just all very average. And that, for me, winds this all back into, then you put the ticket prices up and you're buying average players window upon window. And let's be honest, the players we bought that were brilliant this window, if we're looking at the 2 standouts in terms of Maddison and Van der Ven, Van der Ven's come, as Marlon said, from I'm not putting Wolfsburg down, but a team that you would expect a player to say, oh, Spurs in the Premier League want me. And James Maddison's got 1 year left on his contract in a team that's just been relegated for 40 million. If James Maddison was 4 years left on his contract and 80 million, we're not buying him. For me, that's the problem. That's the problem for me. That's the problem in all of this, is that I don't think these players are terrible, but they are going to keep Spurs where we have always been, a team that thinks 4th place is like winning a league title. They will keep you in and around the hump for that. But when you're buying them and putting them on 5-year contracts,
and Savva and
sorry,
and
I'm ranting.
No, you're spot on, because and they will follow the same pattern. If we don't go and buy a Chiesa, a Kvaratskhelia, a Jimenez, if we don't start buying these exciting players that, you know, have been proven to be good at a high level, have won trophies abroad or even in this country, because Maddison's won an FA Cup, right? So another Maddison, I've got no issue with that. If we don't keep signing that level, then what happens is Real Madrid come in and say, here's 100 million, we want Van der Ven. He's gone. They come in and they say, next season someone comes in and puts a bid in for Udogie. We need a left back. Here's 50 million. He's gone. Same as Carrick, the Berbatovs, all the quality players. Recently, Harry Kane.
Yeah.
Harry Kane staying for 8 years, 9 years. We're never going to see a quality player like that stay that long at Spurs again. It's only because he came for our academy that he showed that loyalty. Any other player that comes in is not staying for 9 years if they're of a high level and we don't win silverware. And if we don't sign those quality players, we're not going to win the silverware. That not only is what we want, but keeps the good players at the club. So it's a vicious cycle. You've got to sign them. Like, for me, it's non-negotiable. Otherwise, this will just implode in about 3 years' time.
The worry is, for me, is that next season, they've got to be better next season. And I don't know if they're going to be better next season. Because, you know, every single player, when they have a good season, they have to be better the following season. And for me, you need competition to make them better. You know what I mean? That was the problem earlier in the season for Arsenal. But now you see the standards gone up a little bit, because now they realise there's competition now, and they've got to really push themselves to you know, get up there. You know what I mean? And that you know, that's going to be my question for those players that are playing well at the moment, like Van der Ven, Vicario, Udogie, you know, Poro, all these other players. So competition make them better, you know. And if you just put players that are just going to just be backups and just do that, they're going to feel comfortable, like certain players that are having in the team right now. Maddison's not playing well at the moment. He's not playing well at the moment.
Yep.
Bentancur's not playing well at the moment. But Bissouma's not playing well at the moment, you know. But who's putting pressure on them? You know, no one's putting pressure on them, and this is why I can't, you know, I can't get on board on this, because nothing's changed. Nothing is actually changed. We got lucky with Van der Ven. Let's be honest here. We got lucky with Vicario, but now we're looking at saying that they're the best players in the world right now. It's ridiculous. They've only had one season. You know what I mean? And it's going to be the same old cycle we had with Poch. That's my opinion. Sorry.
No, I agree. And look, guys, what I didn't want to do was beat this to death. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read out a couple of super chats, then get your predictions for the Villa game, and then we'll wrap it up there until next week. Just in terms of super chats, big up to Phil P, who did put this in ages ago, who said happy meal, but nobody's happy. No toys either. Big up to Phil P. Big up to him. Trinidadian Deep, who's been a member for 11 months, said Ange is a distraction for Dr. Evil. Yeah, Ange does seem to have taken away, doesn't he, from certain fans what is actually happening at our club because he's new and shiny. If we're like this next season, I wonder if they'll still feel the same. And also, big up to Wayne Holland, who just put in a super sticker. Big up to you, Wayne. Looks like your boys got a much-needed win. Was it yesterday or the day before to stay top of the championship? So
have you heard about Leicester? Apparently, they've broken the financial rules as well. They're in trouble. It came out today. They've overspent as well. So,
maybe Spurs will overspend one day.
Hey, would any if Spurs were to break FFP rules, would you take the 5-point deduction for action?
Yeah. I'd be well happy. I'd be well happy.
I'll take it now.
If I woke up and saw that Spurs had spent 400 million in the summer and broken FFP, I'd be like, go on, Daniel. Just really quickly, I'm going to wrap up the show in less than 60 seconds. Marlon, Spurs away at Villa. Give me a score.
I'm going with the same one I predicted all week. I think Villa are going to win 3-2. I think we'll go 2-0 up, and I think Ange will make a sub that will cost us the game, and we'll lose 3-2.
Woo! Very specific. Woo! Very specific. Alex, Tottenham away at Aston Villa.
2-2.
2-2. Okay. Yep. Stel, Tottenham away at Villa.
I agree with Marlon, 3-2 Villa, but I don't think that we're going to go 2-0 up. I just don't think we start well, and I think Villa will start well, and then we'll be playing catch up the whole game, and they'll just nick it with the home advantage. So 3-2 Villa.
Yeah, I'm torn between a 2-2 and a 3-2 to Villa. I think that there's goals in it. I agree with Stel's assessment earlier. I think it's going to be end to end. I don't know what Marlon's been watching to think we're going to go 2-0 up ever anywhere. We have to concede a goal before we start playing football.
I know.
But listen, look, let's hope we're all right. Lots of people just putting a lot of different scores into the chat. Big up to absolutely everyone that's watched. Please smash the like button on your way out. Please subscribe. If you think you're already subscribed to a channel, please double check. YouTube's been doing some mad things lately. Unsubscribe. I don't know if everyone else is feeling that, but please do check. Subscribe to all the lads here. Much love. Take care. And just know that if Benfica can find a goal in the last 3 minutes against Rangers, I win £1,200. So everyone, please pray for Benfica. Take care, everyone. And as always, come on, you Spurs.